is providing the quotation. We don't see the letterhead, so we don't know what the company is, whose quotation it is. The date of the quotation is 23rd May. So that would have been 4 days after Mr. Msibi and Mr. Motsomi returned from Europe. And what the quotation is for, item 1, active monitoring system including laptop software and one multi-RAT BTS. That's multi-radio access technology-based technology system. That is a grabber. Item 1 is a grabber. The price per unit for the grabber is 780,000 euros, which at the time would have been, gosh, I haven't done the equation, but it would have been somewhere between 15 and 18 million rands, I would imagine. Optional, 2 multi-rat BTSs. So you could have an additional extra set of grabbers which would come at 150,000 per unit. And you could also get a tactical DDS jammer. And a DDS stands for direct digital synthesis, and what a DDS jammer is digital technology that can essentially block out other, can be trained on particular frequencies very quickly and can block out other people's mobile communications. So you can shut off everybody else's mobile access with a jammer. That quotation is issued by Themistyle, a company in which Mr. Motsomi, Mr. Molefe, and Mr. Msibi have a central role in, and it comes 4 days after the return from Europe of Mr. Msibi and Mr. Motsomi. And we don't see what becomes of this quotation, whether it ever gets taken up by anyone. We don't know to whom it was addressed either. We do know that it was exchanged between Mr. Molefe and Mr. Msibi. But if we can just step back and take stock at what we're looking at here, because it is quite alarming. Mr. Msibi, Mr. Motsomi, Mr. Molefe, and possibly Sergeant Nkosi are involved, well, Sergeant Nkosi is certainly involved with Mr. Msibi in one project. Mr. Msibi, Mr. Motsomi, and Mr. Molefe are involved in another. The extent to which Mr. Motsomi and Mr. Molefe were involved in the first project is not clear. Anyway, they're involved in a commercial project. The commercial project involves the selling of high-tech surveillance, digital surveillance systems and jamming technology. The 3 people we're talking about have received some coverage in this commission. Mr. Msibi has been described by General Nxumalo, who's the head of crime intelligence, as the then leader of the Big Five organized crime cartel. Mr. Molefe is currently on trial for murder in a matter involving firearms that can be linked to more than 30 other murder scenes in Gauteng in the last 5 years. Mr. Motsomi is someone whose name General Sonona, when he was still head of the Hawks, was too scared to mention. These 3 men are dealing with foreign companies to get access to grabber technology purporting to represent a state. And then, at least in the case of Mr. Msibi, they seem to be looking to sell that technology to the Eswatini government. in that first episode, the first case that we saw. Whether or they didn't manage, it seems, in that case, to sell to the Eswatini government, they may well have managed in this case. We just don't know. But whether or not they are managing to sell the technology to a foreign state, they presumably can also have access to it for their own purposes. They're into the hands of intelligence agencies who are then constrained to use it under fairly strict legislative controls. But what we have here is private parties passing themselves off as representatives of states and trading in this, or trying to trade in this technology.
Mr. Chaskalson, that brings me to the question that I was going to ask. And I know that the presentation of this evidence today has been sprung on you. The question I meant to ask is, have we gone so far as to establish whether private entities and individuals can lawfully be in possession under South African law of a gemma and a grabber? Have we gone that far?
A jammer I can't speak to. A grabber, I can say with some confidence, is not something that any private entity ought lawfully to be entitled to use, because digital surveillance, interception of communications, which is what a grabber is for, is something regulated by statute, which requires judicial warrant. And judicial warrants are not given to private parties to intercept communications.
Are we able to get that on affidavit from a witness who's part of the government or intelligence agencies?
I will look into it, and we will, one way or another, we will establish this point. It may be a simple issue of law, having regard to the interception. I think it's called the Interception of Communications Act. But I'll
cannot or should not be able to access them. But some devices may be allowed for use by private entities, mobile companies, and other people. So if we can just get that clarity from somebody who has knowledge of these kinds of things, to avoid having to burden you with the answers.
No, we will certainly get an expert in the field to explain this all to us.
We don't want to force you to do research and give us answers. If an expert is able to provide us with an affidavit, then I think that should suffice.
To the end of this grabber episode, the next.
Before you go to the next, I know you're not a witness, and you're not, and you're not an expert in this. I'm trying to wrap my head around a gemma as against a grabber. I think I've understood how a grabber would work. A gemma would do what? Would at least
block communications.
For criminal activity.
Well, I mean, at a very low level, a jammer stops your remote control on your car from locking your car when you get out the car. So a lot of small-time criminals have access to jammers which are used, and I'm sure some of us have had that experience. You get out your car, you think you've locked it, you haven't locked it because the signal's been jammed and someone steals something from your car while you've gone into the shop. At a much more grand scale, what a jammer can do is block communications, can stop people communicating on their cell phones. It essentially can block communication that depends on operating at particular frequencies.
It could block law enforcement from listening in.
Certainly on, yeah.
Thank you.
Please continue, Mr. Chaskalson.
Chair, it looks like you have been the victim of a small-scale jammer. I have too.
I was whispering to my co-commissioners about the incident at Parliament where everybody's devices were jammed.
That's much
Allegedly.
If it happened, it was much grander than my experience. I just lost a briefcase. The next topic that I want to move to is actually a series of topics, but what was extraordinary about this phone was it drew connections between topics that we've been looking at in this commission that seemed completely self-contained and unrelated to one another. And Mr. Msibi was often, crossing over in relation to people involved in one aspect of our investigation and people involved in another wholly separate one. So let's take as our start, Carne Links, the tobacco manufacturer whom we came across in the context of General Khan's communications, who pleaded guilty to schemes essentially to defraud SARS, didn't plead guilty, admitted. They weren't ever taken to a criminal court. Admitted to schemes, fraudulent schemes to defraud SARS of tobacco taxes, and whose director, Mr. Sayed, was in close contact with General Khan and appeared to be trying to rig tenders with General Khan through the COVID period. If we go to page 5, we see communications between another director of Carne Links, Mr. Carl Phillips, and Mr. Msibi. And we see a connection between Carne Links and Mr. Msibi. And what we see in these chats, we see a number of things, but essentially what we see is that when Carne Links gets robbed, they call up Mr. Msibi to sort it all out and find out who's robbed them and get their stock back. And if we go to page 5, we see that on the 26th of February, Mr. Phillips writes to Mr. Msibi, "Hey, Papa Joe, thanks for sorting out. Just tell us where to collect, but please ask if they can recover the firearms as well." So in this theft, which we will see, is a theft of stock. Firearms seem to have been...
Papa Joe is who? Mr.
Msibi. Jotham Msibi. And from chats 3 to 6 at page 5, we see a series of chats from either the robber himself or someone pretending to have inherited the stock from the robber. And those chats are hang on, unfortunately I've lost my reference. So those chats get increasingly desperate now that the robber understands that Mr. Msibi is onto the job. So they start at page 22. And the first one says, "Hi," to which Mr. Phillips responds, "Hi, can't talk, send message, I'm at work." "It's me, Ali, I want to talk to you. Brother, I want to give back that stock. I want to talk to you. Call me, I made a mistake to buy that stock. I just want to ask, there's one of my friends, can I give him that stock so that he can give you?" Then on the following page, the chats continue. Same chat. I want to be sure if he speaks to boss that I'll give him. Please, brother, talk, brother, say something. What must I do? You're not saying anything. Then there are a couple of missed calls. Talk to me only for a minute. And the response is, send the stock at our factory. Just talk to me on call, please, for 1 minute. So whoever Ali is, whether he's the robber or the purchaser from the robbers or somehow otherwise linked to the stock and the robbery, he is desperately wanting to make it better. If we go back to the chats, we see possibly why Ali is so desperate. And if we see at the chat number 2, Mr. Phillips says, hey, Papa Joe, the guy's been contacting my guys. I said they must deal with you if you don't mind. Thank you for all your help. And Mr. Msibi responds, hi, Kyle. He spoke to me yesterday. Stuff. Yes, his name is Ali. That's the name he gave me. And then if we go down to chat 6, afternoon, Papa Joe, all stock is returned. Thank you so much. Everything is sorted. Cool, Carl. We'll see you guys on Thursday. And Phillips responds, we're now on the 1st of March. You're the man. And Mr. Msibi says, cool, we'll not stand out when you guys have got this problem. We'll try to assist where I can. So Mr. Msibi is saying, when you've got this sort of problem in the future, I'm here to help you. We go all the way down to page 11, and we're now on the 6th of June. And Mr. Phillips in chat number 2 says to Mr. Msibi, Papa Joe, I'm so sorry. I think I had one vodka too many last night. Myself and Adriano would be Adriano Mazzotti, who is actually the deponent to the affidavit that was flighted in relation to the agreement with SARS. Mr. Mazzotti is the, I think, the CEO of Carne Links. He's certainly the leader of Carne Links. Have spoken quite a bit about sorting you as a thank you for getting that stock back. But I did not want to interfere with your mourning process and worry you with trivial money issues, so please don't take it as any disrespect or discounting our friendship. So this week, we'll come and have a drink and square up with you. Thanks for everything, my brother. If we go down to 3 August, it seems that Mr. Phillips had another occasion to call on the assistance of Mr. Msibi. It's now page 14, chat 3. 9:34 p.m. Mr. Phillips writes to Mr. Msibi, your soldiers arrived. I owe you, my brother. Mr. Msibi says, cool. And next chat. I'm sorry, I had to say they didn't know who they were fucking with. Your boys were brilliant. Thank you again so much, my brother. So it seems that there was some sort of arrangement between Carne Links and Mr. Msibi that when Carne Links got into, or when there were thefts or robberies at Carne Links, Mr. Msibi helped them out. There is a curious exchange on the 22nd of October, it's at page 16, and I must confess, but because this was sprung on us on such short notice, we don't have the complete explanation of this exchange. We will look into it and come back to you. But if we go to chat 5, Mr. Phillips says to Mr. Msibi, how are you, my brother? do you know anybody wanting red water with capital R and capital W, 25-litre drums? Now, we've been given a whole range of possibilities as to what red water may refer to. The one most likely possibility, and I'm not saying that it is, but the most likely possibility is water used by zamazamas, water with mercury in it that is used by zamazamas in part of the artisanal gold refining process. But it may well not. There may be an innocent explanation for red water. We might ask Mr. Phillips. How are you, my brother? You know anybody wanting red water, 25-litre drums? Mr. Msibi responds, hi, my brother, I'm out of South Africa. On our side, we're strong. In other words, we don't need red water. But we'll check who might take. Have a great one, my brother. And then later on, no stress, my brother, looks like it was sold. So the red water seems to have found a buyer. Then, if we go down to 21, we see another request for assistance from Mr. Msibi in relation to an armed robbery. Morning, Papa Joe. Brother, I need your help. That same guy, Ali, arranged an armed robbery at our other factory, or at Wadeville. The security guards were in on it. Obviously, my people are now hunting high and low, but I know that one call from you will sort everything out. Please, will you help me out again with this? Love and regards, Kyle. Now, those are the chats between Mr. Phillips and Mr. Msibi that I wanted to refer to, but what struck us as significant in this regard is we had seen no links whatsoever between what we saw in General Khan's chats and his dealings with Carne Links on the one hand, and what we'd been looking at for most of the Commission in relation to the so-called Big Five and Mr. Msibi, but it seems that at the very least there are some relations between, or there were some relations between Mr. Msibi and Carne Links.
Yesterday, in his testimony, Mr. Matlala explained how he got to know quite a number of people, and he said he met most of them at Mr. Msibi's farm. And I remember thinking, I never thought this person, like, for example, Mr. Karim, if the allegation is correct, of course, had anything to do with the farm. Quite a number of people.
Indeed, we will get to, there are a whole series of unexpected connections that we see here. Mr. Karim is one of them. His joint venture with Ziggy Investments and Transnational Coaches is dealing with Mr. Msibi. We'll come to it later. But the next one is possibly another unexpected link, but albeit through someone who we have already seen linked to Mr. Msibi. It's a link between Mr. Msibi and Ekurhuleni, which certainly we weren't expecting. But if we go to page 141, we see that Mr. Msibi appears to have used Mr. Nxumalo, who is someone who we previously have met in connection with Mr. Msibi, to rig a tender for him at Ekurhuleni. And if we start at page 141, chat number 3, we see, and these are chats between Mr. Msibi and Mr. Nxumalo. We see at chat number 3, this is now the 26th of April 2023, that Mr. Msibi sends to Mr. Nxumalo a chat where he says the following: 1, Camproc Pty Limited. 2, Project Management Unit for BRT project. 3, the Project Management Unit contract is funded by the National Department of Transport through the City of Ekurhuleni. 4, the project management contract is under the Department of Transport and Fleet Management in the city. That's the 26th of June. On the 30th of June, Mr. Nxumalo sends anniversary greetings.
Sorry, this is 26th
So 30th of April.
April.
Sorry, April. Sends anniversary greetings to Mr. Msibi. Mr. Msibi thanks him and says, have you spoken to Jose, please? And the Ekurhuleni issue, please let me know. So Mr. Msibi is very interested in the Ekurhuleni issue. Mr. Nxumalo responds the next day, hi Ndlondo, please give me until Tuesday, all will be well. Please send Camprock's number. In other words, I need a number for Camprock, which is the company that you described. Then on the 5th of April, the 4th of May, Mr. Msibi sends a number. And unfortunately, I don't think that we have in the bundle that contact card. We'll get it put into the bundle. That contact card, the number is for Nokuthula Nxumalo, who we remember was the one dealing with Stefan in Germany in relation to the trip, presumably to look for grabbers for Themi Style. Underneath, having sent Ms. Nxumalo's number to Mr. Nxumalo, Mr. Msibi says, hi Ze, have sent you the number, please follow up. Can I send Galito to pick up as agreed, son? And Galito, we know from earlier on, is Mr. Sibanda, who worked as a cook for Mr. Msibi. On the 29th of May, Mr. Msibi wants to be called back. And the next development is the 13th of June, and that's on page 143. And there, Mr. Nxumalo sends to Mr. Msibi a WhatsApp in chat number 3 at 8:43 in the morning, which forwards the tender advertisement for this project management unit that Mr. Msibi wanted for Camprock. And if we go to page 149, we see what was forwarded. And I must immediately just emphasize that what was actually forwarded was the entire bid invitation that ran to probably over 100 pages. So just to simplify the bundle, I just included the cover page. But there you see Transport and Fleet Management Department, contract number PSPT 17 of 2020 Limited, Project Management Unit for BRT project, PMU contract funded by the National Department of Transport through the City of Ekurhuleni. PMU contract is under the Department of Transport and Fleet Management in the city. So as early as April, Mr. Msibi had identified that this contract should be put out to tender by Ekurhuleni for the benefit of Camprock. If we go back to the chat from Mr. Nxumalo of the 13th of June, we see that he forwards it to Mr. Msibi with a message that he appears to have, I say he appears to have sent to someone, although we will see that he denies it. And the message says, this one isn't a panel. Is it spoken for? I have 2 people asking. So this is a bid invitation, and someone, either Mr. Nxumalo or someone communicated with Mr. Nxumalo, is saying, is this one spoken for? We asked Mr. Nxumalo who we assumed he had written those words, and if one goes to page 170, paragraph 2.4, we'll see that the question that we asked Mr. Nxumalo in this regard, and the question was, full details of the person to whom you originally wrote, "This one isn't a panel, is it spoken for? I have two people asking," appearing in the WhatsApp message that you forwarded to Mr. Msibi on 13 June 2023 at 8:43, and we attached the message. The response that we got is at page 175 and is with respect rather evasive. It says the following, paragraph 14. The message referred to in paragraph 2.4 of the notice reads, "This one isn't a panel. Is it spoken for? I have two people asking." It appears that item number 3 of the extract attached to the notice is Annexure B, dated 13 June 2023 at 8:43, and is accompanied by an image of the document. The document appears to be the bid document for contract PSPT 1723 issued by the Transport and Fleet Management Department of the City of Ekurhuleni for the provision of a project management unit and technical services for the development of the City of Ekurhuleni integrated rapid public transport network. A copy is attached here to as ZN2. Thus far, Mr. Nxumalo has told us nothing other than what we told him. I identified the contract by conducting an internet search of the contract number for the purpose of preparing the statement. I had no independent knowledge of it, he says. Well, he emailed that bid invitation to Mr. Msibi on that day. I have no recollection of the circumstances in which it came to be sent, and I'm accordingly unable to identify the person to whom the words were originally addressed or from whom I may have received them. If this message is true, if the statement is true, it is truly staggering that Mr. Nxumalo is dealing with people who send messages purporting to rig tenders on such a frequent basis that he can't remember this one. 17, I record for the Commission's assistance that item 3 of the extract is marked incoming, whereas the notice proceeds on the basis that I wrote those words and forwarded the message to the late Mr. Msibi. It was incoming for Mr. Msibi. I do not believe that this proposition is correct. If the message illustrates that it had been forwarded to the late Mr. Msibi, then it would be on the basis that I had received the message with the aforesaid question and thereafter forwarded the same to the late Mr. Msibi. So he says, well, maybe somebody else wrote those words, but I forwarded them to Mr. Msibi. Additionally, I dispute I was the author of the aforesaid message, as it's not my manner of typing. I do not use abbreviations such as PPL in the normal course. As indicated, I cannot determine with certainty who would have sent me the aforesaid message and the context in which this would have been shared with me or the late Mr. Msibi. However, given the prominent role of the late Mr. Msibi in the public transport industry, together with my involvement in brokering transactions within and for the taxi industry, I would have shared the document with him so as to inquire as whether he'd be interested in the bid. For the sake of completeness, I record I had no involvement in the bidding or award process of the aforesaid contract by the City of Ekurhuleni. So he is claiming ignorance. He can't really explain why he would have forwarded a document to Mr. Msibi that, on its face, assumes that tenders in Ekurhuleni are spoken for before they are awarded. Still less why he would have done so in circumstances where 2 months previously Mr. Msibi had identified that very specific contract as something he wanted him to deal with.
In communication to him? In
communications to him, absolutely. He also can't really explain something that happens a little later, which is page 144, chat number 2. In fairness to him, he hasn't seen these chats, so he had only his own chats to consult in his memory. But at 24 minutes past, at 24 October, chat number 2, Mr. Nxumalo notifies Mr. Msibi that PMU, that's the Project Management Unit tender, has been submitted for this week's BEC. Department has confirmed. So he's following that tender and knows that it's gone to the BEC. And lo and behold, if we find out where the tender was awarded, we go to the Ekurhuleni web page of bids awarded in November 2023. That starts on page 150. And if we go down to the top of page 163, we see that the successful bidder in relation to the provision of a project management unit and technical services for the development of the city of Ekurhuleni integrated rapid public transport network from date of award until 30 June 2026 was none other than Camproc Pty Limited, who had been nominated by Mr. Msibi in April of that year. There is one further issue to address in relation, one possibly two, in relation to this tender. It's a chat on page 143.
Taskalson, who owns Camproc?
And here I must actually fess up and say that in my rush to get this stuff together, I haven't actually, we can do a Windeed search, we'll have that after tea.
But those would be public documents.
They are
It's a
public
matter of
documents.
just adding them to the bundle. It's a
Sorry,
matter of just adding them to the bundle.
indeed, we will do so.
Do we also know from the earlier chat that Msibi and Ze Nxumalo is associated with Camproc?
Indeed, and if needs be, I can also get that contact card printed out over the tea break. Can I ask that we, in that respect, that we actually take an extended tea break just for me to attend to these logistical issues? We're scrambling a little bit, and we're certainly not going to run beyond lunch today, so it's not like we will lose time by that.
Also adjourn now, or?
We could adjourn now because I'm going on to a slightly related but
Okay.